I'm Pam Mashburn. I have a business here, exploreMedia in Montgomery, Alabama. We've been in business since 2006 and helping HVAC since 2019. I have 16 in-house people. 3 of them besides me are here today, so we really want to get to know you guys. We take a little bit different approach to marketing. And I'm going to talk about digital marketing, but we're also pro-traditional marketing too. We really think it's important that you win at that competitive market that you're in. I live in Auburn, Alabama. We're a city of 150,000 people. Anybody want to guess how many HVAC owners are in my area? Any guesses?
3,000.
Very close. It was 67. I went through and counted. So how many competitors do you guys have in your areas? Way more than me. Okay. So there's a lot. It's a really competitive market. And so I want to talk a little bit about that today. And I want you to keep your marketing hat on just during this part. Think about your own business. And I like to think of marketing as two things. It is keeping customers and it's getting new customers. That's all it is. Keeping customers and getting customers. So I want to go through 3 topics. One is that concept that Doug just talked about, known before needed. The care and feeding of Google, the behemoth monster that we all have to deal with. And then just some general revenue infusion ideas. I thought I had 20 minutes. I'm going to go as fast as I can because I only have 15. So when we talk about being known before needed, what we find is that people prefer brands that they know. 71% prefer brands that they know. I'm at my house, it's 100 degrees in Montgomery, Alabama, and I need to find an HVAC person. And so when I go out there and I have that oh crap moment, the first thing I do is go where? On my phone, Google. If I don't even, sometimes I don't even remember who serviced my units last time, right? So I get on my phone and I've got a long list of people, and so I say, oh, I know Hans, I'm gonna pick him, right? Because I already know him. And what do I know about him? I can trust him because he's been in business for a while, I've seen his trucks around, and I know that he can do 24/7 emergency overtime service. So being known before needed. One of the things that private equity doesn't do is invest in their community. So anything you can do to invest in your community, being on the back of those ball teams. My favorite is in my community, one of my clients, he actually has a mini split tent, and he takes it to the Friday Night Light high school games, and he has a cooling station or a heating station, whatever's happening during that time. And so you want to know how many people go in there and meet them and talk to them and they've got their shirts on? And that doesn't cost anything. In fact, they usually want you to come. Then the second thing about being known before needed is when you're rebranding, everybody's talking about rebranding right now, don't lose your identity. Just change it up a little bit. Make sure anybody in Montgomery, Alabama knows Hans from the yellow and blue and the sunset thing that he has. And so whenever I see it, I don't even have to read it. I know it's his. So make sure it's consistent on your ads, your social media. You may get bored of it, but people don't remember things. They have to see it over and over and over. Okay, so who likes to win? Who likes to win anything? I love to win. So one of the things about our agency is we don't like to take 2 HVAC companies in the same city because it is really competitive, and so we're always trying to figure out what's going to give you the edge over somebody else. And so if you need to be doing that with, you've got your own marketing person or if you have your own agency, make sure they're using techniques that propel you ahead of them. Google isn't optional, it's essential. If you're not winning on Google, it means your competitors are, because it is a competitive space. So I want to talk about 3 areas on Google. I call it the care and feeding of Google, because it is like a monster that always wants to be fed. And there's different things you can do. Some are free, some aren't. The first one is local service ads. These are the ads that you see at the top, and a lot of times they have a little green check mark. How many people are doing LSA? Hands? A few of y'all, yeah. And we'll talk about that in just a second, but the nice thing about Google service ads is they don't cost anything unless you get a lead. So they're going to charge you for those leads, depending on if it's shoulder season or not, between $40 and $70 a lead. The next one is Google search ads. How many people are doing those sponsored Google search ads? Hands? Few of y'all. I think this is a secret weapon. A lot of people aren't doing it, so it means there's not as much competition. You can have your ad show up if somebody types in your competitors' names. You can have it come up if somebody's saying HVAC near me, obviously. But the nice thing is, unlike LSA, you can actually put more words to it and say more about yourself and have special offerings. Those leads are going to be between $17 to $30. Okay. And then the next thing is, it doesn't cost anything, but it's Google Business Profile. Y'all don't have to hold your hands up. Everybody ought to have a Google Business Profile. I would not want you to feel ashamed if you didn't. So I won't make you raise your hand. But if you need help with that, you let us know. That's an easy one to set up. Here's some tips for Google Business Profile. Get reviews. Okay, get reviews. Get reviews. If you need help getting reviews, I'll give you lots of different strategies to get reviews. It is the one thing that you can do that will really feed Google. Your physical address is your anchor. And I'm going to show you that. So no matter what, the proximity of where you are and the person that's looking for the service is going to trump even your reputation. This is an example of one of my clients in LaGrange, Georgia. And so they are located, they just opened a whole new place in Carrollton, Georgia, and they're right here in the center of that square. Okay, local service ads. A couple that we met here last time at the owners meeting was Lynn's Heating and Air. They're in Des Moines. They had never used LSA, and so within the first 3 weeks of starting LSA, we were able to get them 12 brand new customers that they didn't have before. And they know what the lifetime value of their customers are, so that was a really great investment for them. And they've actually since then increased it, their local services ad spending. All right. I'm going lightning fast. All right, LSA, if you want to know more about LSA, we've got a whole guide in the back so that you can get it set up if you want, or you can call us, we're always available. And Google search ads, remember I said this is your secret tactic. So this is what we do with hands right now. So the only bad thing about this is you do have to outlay money ahead of time. That's what everybody calls the pay-per-click. But you can talk about a lot of different things. So when somebody's searching because their air conditioner broke, the first thing that shows up with hands is 24/7 emergency services, no overtime charges. And he got, this was in February, and it was 10 days in February, we had 89 people that called him because of this ad. So his lead cost on this was $8.67. It's pretty good, right? Dominic is here, yeah, from Heatweiser, so he's working with us. He was really smart because he did a promo on his, the $49 furnace tune-up. So that's special, plus he has like a $500 offer. This was in, I think this was in February as well. But we got 71 conversions, that means 71 leads at $3.68 a lead. And the way we look at it is if you have a great offer, you have really strong copy, it's going to mean more texts and homes. And just like Hans has been talking about, the more you get people in homes, the more opportunity you've got for replacement sales. All right, shoulder season. I'm always amazed that everybody is surprised when shoulder season hits. So I have some clients right now, and they are like, the phones aren't ringing the way I want them to. And the only problem with Google is, if you don't have somebody like really bad weather and somebody needs some urgency, they're not gonna get on Google and say, oh, I'm just gonna peruse an HVAC website today. They're just not gonna do that. So this is when marketing really comes into play, and you've got to create some interest, some urgency, something to get them to spend money and to have your people in your have your people in their house. So there's a couple of things, and one of the things that I think is important is keeping a cadence with your regular clients. And so a cadence of like a monthly touch point. So I know you are going to talk about call centers. That's, when you're making a call, that's a touch point. When you're going in for your maintenance programs, that's a touch point. We also like to use email as a touch point. And so we like to talk about get on the maintenance plan, or get some dehumidifiers or air purifiers, any kind of things like that to increase the lifetime value of your client. Okay, here's one that we did. This was a couple of years ago. And what we did is we had about 8,000 customers, but I think it was like 3,000 were not on the maintenance plan. So we took those 3,000 and we sent them an email and offered them a special $69 system check. We had 101 bookings. Just the bookings alone generated $8,700 in revenue. but they had a bunch of upsells. So they ended up getting an average of $770 on upsells, which ended up being $29,000 in upsell revenue. And so this one email equated to about $38,000. The next one we did was, so that was with current clients. So we also do something with our clients called programmatic emails. And basically these are what we do is we say, we want people in this zip code, this income, that own houses, and we send them an email. We don't know who they are, we just send it to them, but we know who they aren't, and that is they're not our current clients. So we sent this out, this is in Nashville, and we sent this out. He had dehumidifiers, air scrubbers. This was in February, and we got 262 calls. So that's really good. At the end of the day, what you care about is results. How many leads did you get? And then also understanding how many of those leads did I actually convert? How many did I get booked? How many did I service? One of the things that I find is that digital changes constantly, and Google, oh my gosh, they used to just like have an algorithm every couple of years. Now they're doing like 3 algorithm changes a year. So it's really hard if you've got a marketing person in-house. It's really hard for them to keep up with Google and mailers and being the expert in all of those things. That's why I'm in business. Because agencies, I have people that are experts in every one of those things. And I'm not an expert, but I know who to go talk to. And so it's important that you're keeping an eye on that. And the other thing to remember is, this may have worked this month, but then your competitor started spending more money, and so you've got to start balancing that out. So it's not just about what you're doing, it's also about what your competitor is doing. And I have one more thing. We're back at that table, and I would love for you guys to come see us. But I have one more thing, and that is, I have this amazing box. It is a gorgeous box, solid box. Will you buy this box for me for $2,700? No. Really? You wouldn't want to buy that from me for $2,700 because you don't, is it because you don't know what's in it?
Yes.
Right. Oh look, I have $10,000 in this box. And that's the way marketing works. You're gonna spend money, but you're gonna get money back. You don't have to know how it works, you don't have to know all of the ins and outs of it, but would you be willing to buy the box for $2,700 if you knew you could get $10,000 back? Yeah, that's the way marketing works. So, hey, if you guys have any questions, please come back and see us. I would love to talk to all of you.
Google is the gorilla, but tell us what value you see in Yelp or Angie's List or the 3 or 4 others that are like that, from your viewpoint.
Yeah, so we do manage Yelp for our clients. What we find with Yelp is that when people are really mad, that's where they tend to want to go.
Yep.
So we don't really spend a lot of money on Yelp. We mostly just use it to do review and reputation management. But I will say Bing is an area that we've started working on. Anybody know why Bing would be a good one? You know, that's the one that comes with your Mac. Yeah, what are you going to say?
It's on most, I'm not saying it's big, but it's actually on most older people's computers.
Exactly.
They have more money.
They have more money. It's on older people's computers, and they don't go and like install Chrome or Google or whatever. So they're just using Bing. So that's another area where you may want to put a little bit of your marketing money, because they usually have a little bit more money to spend.